101, give us like a good foundation. And then Gale is going to take over the reins probably close to that 6 o'clock mark. Because I have a little one, just 8 months, no 17-year-olds, but I got a little one that I have to run and pick up.
Yeah, enjoy them while they're that small.
He doesn't talk back yet, so that's good.
Oh, yeah, that's very good. Enjoy that. But once they start talking, you'll love it just as well.
Very good. All right. Well, Gail, just give me the green light, and we'll take it from there.
I already hit it. We're good.
Okay. Well, excellent. If you are listening to this, this is the voice of Ryan Mickley, one of your course directors, and I am running alongside Gale Newbold. Both of us, I have section 1, Gale has section 2. So, but that doesn't mean that you just get one of us. You actually get both of us, especially each week at the same time, Tuesdays at 5 o'clock till roughly 6:30. Sometimes we even go a little bit later till about 7. We talk about a variety of subject matters that have to do with the activities and assignments that you have each week. And here in week 1, we will be discussing realizing your current brand. This is where we're going to go online and we're going to see exactly what other people see about us. And then we're also going to learn, how do we adjust that? How do we manage our online reputation? So let's get started with maybe some quick introductions. We had the pleasure of meeting Cara before we started the recording, I believe. So I want to welcome Cara to the line, and to all of our listeners, we're really glad that you joined us on even the archive later on during the week. So to give you an idea of who we are as your instructors, let's open it up to Gale. Gale, if you would like to introduce yourself.
Ooh, I get to go first. Well, I kind of like to start with a little story. I remember from a very young age, I was always interested in human behavior and what influences people to do what they do. When I was a young captain in the Army, I would get my monthly copy of Psychology Today in the mail, and I couldn't wait to get home to my apartment and read it from cover to cover. So this intense interest in other human beings and kind of what connects with them and what they like to, how they like to be seen, led me to go on and get a Master of Science degree in social work. And that helped me to help people and also corporate entities to be able to understand kind of their brand voice, how they're perceived, a little bit about how others see their reputation. I also earned a Bachelor of Science in Economics and Business, and I have 11 years of experience in the U.S. Army in various positions, 2 of which includes a platoon leader and a company commander, because I know those are ones people are very familiar with. I'm also a licensed psychotherapist and a certified leadership development course trainer. And I'm also certified by Harvard as a Harvard management mentor as well. So all of these roles have helped me to work with individuals, groups, business entities, and kind of understanding their impact on others and their community. I also worked at Walt Disney World as an entertainer and a consultant, and I have a lot of years working with governmental, nonprofit, and corporate entities. So with all of that, hopefully it's given me some insight and some experience and some education in being able to help you with developing your own personal brand for those that are in my section, and that I can help you with that and help you as you're trying to connect with the industry that you're pursuing. And hopefully you'll get just as excited as I was way back in the years when I couldn't wait to get to my Psychology Today magazine. I'm hoping to get you just as excited about developing your personal brand. So that's pretty much all about me.
Thank you, Gail. And most important to note, Gail makes me a better man by working alongside her. So I know firsthand what it's like to have my leadership abilities being extracted through working with Gail. So she is amazing at what she does. She helps you develop as a professional and a leader in whichever field it is that you're going into. So for those of you in Gail's section, I'm really, really happy for you. And for those of you in mine, I'm sorry that
Oh no, the great
but you
thing
do
about
get
to
Gail,
happen.
at
Thank
least for
you.
the GoTo training.
Thank you so
Um,
much, Ryan.
of
But
course.
Ryan's awesome as well. Let's just hear about him.
So, in lieu of storytelling, and we're going to talk a little bit about brand storytelling into week 2, but as it pertains to my story and kind of what led me down this path of personal branding and instructing in higher education, it really all started with 5 words. I was very young and wet behind the ears, I call it. I was fresh out of college for the first time, and I was working at a boutique hotel as the boutique hotel manager at a country club, and the COO walked into my office one day and looked at me and said, "You're young, redesign our website." And he walked out. And at that point, I was scared yet really excited because I knew he was serious, especially after I wrote him an email, "Are you serious?" And he replied, "Yes." But just because I was young, he thought I knew a thing or two about designing websites. And I didn't, but I learned. And I learned on the job, and I took on that project. And wouldn't you know, I found my love of internet marketing after completing that project. And from that point on, I was on this path to where I am today. In fact, I went to Full Sail University to earn my bachelor in internet marketing. So for my internet marketing Bachelor of Science degree holders or pursuers that are listening, I know what you're going through, and I know what you're about to go through. So if you ever have any questions, I'm always here to help. I graduated Full Sail and went on to becoming a consultant. And so I truly am an example of how successful you can be. And I don't mean that in an arrogant way. I just mean the internet marketing program in particular sets you up for such great success through this real world education that I didn't go out seeking just a position after graduation. Companies were seeking me as a consultant. And that was primarily a testament to the program and not to me personally. I was just one of many of the Full Sail graduates that were in a similar position, and it was primarily because of how well this program sets you up for success. So hopefully you'll be putting everything that you got into the program just like I did, and just like a lot of my peers did when we went through. After graduation, I went on to work as a consultant with a lot of different digital media agencies, and I eventually found my passion in personal branding, and that's where I specialized. And so at some point, I decided I'm done pursuing just any gig that comes along. I only want to accept where positions or consultant work where I can teach people how to market themselves online and off, rather than marketing products or services. I really wanted to market people, and that's where I've stayed in my lane ever since, and I've been happier for it. So along the way, I was able to pick up quite a few certifications, and as well as the executive producer position with Reach Personal Branding. Reach Personal Branding is an organization that you're going to get to know really well this week and this month. William Maruda is the founder of Reach, and he was gracious enough to give us a little over an hour of his time to really address all the different topics that we talk about throughout the month. So you'll be introduced to that interview. I believe it's in week 2 that you'll have access to it, and you'll have access to it in weeks 3 and 4 as well. So please take advantage of that wisdom that William brings to the table. So that's me in a nutshell. That's why I'm here, and I'm very much looking forward to getting to know each and every one of you. As I mentioned, we did have Takara, or I'm sorry, not Takara. That was last month. We have Kara. Kara Parker has joined us today, and Kara comes from Pennsylvania, and she has actually already started an artist management company of her own, and she's managing a jazz artist. We learned that, I believe, before we hit record. Is that correct, Gail?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, good. So Cara is with us, and so you might be hearing from her as we continue to progress over the topics. And
As
Cara,
we
if there's anything else that you would like to add, now would be a great time to add that, so that your classmates know you a little bit better. And I think I just called you Takara again. My apologies, it's Cara.
It's okay. Um, uh, well, I kind of do a lot than just the artist management. I also run an online book club, and we have annual events every year.
Wow.
Um, so we're in our fifth year of events, and I'm an avid reader. I love reading, especially mystery, suspense, and romance. And I try to find ways where I can integrate the book business and the music side. And that's how I had my artists to score for a film, because one of the authors turned their book into film.
Hmm.
And, when they needed original music content and things like that, I had someone over here. So, I try to integrate where I can, and um, to build my brand, as well as, both of my entities, the book club, the artist management, the artist. So um, I'm glad to be in this class, because this would really help me a lot into, you know, developing my brand more broader, and to be able to manage it all.
And Cara, I think that is absolutely brilliant how you're setting yourself up with what we would call in the marketing field a lead generation system. That is remarkable, to have something that you're passionate about, like book club, and then searching for the intersection of where book club meets your artist management um, position. I mean, that is great and fascinating to think that it's like, oh, by the way, now that you're an author and you're taking your book to the big screen, or at least to the screen, here are multiple artists that you can choose from to have original scores written or original music playing. That is fantastic. I love that.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. I was happy that I was able to, you know, to get my artist set up with that as well, because now he's on deck for future films. He's also been invited back as the music director for the next film. So, you know, it's kind of working out, and I see it as all art. Authors are artists, painters are artists, musicians are artists. They're in different mediums, but it's still all um, to put out for entertainment for others.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I believe with all my heart that it's that attribute that you hold, that ability to, that foresight, I would call that foresight or vision, where you're constantly searching for the connections between all things, and finding that relationship and making it work, not only to your advantage, but to the advantage of your clients as well. So good for you. I'm really proud of you for doing that.
And Cara,
Thank
I'm
you.
making an assumption here that you're a music business student.
Yes, I am.
Okay, let's make sure.
Well,
Excellent.
not music, but I'm the entertainment management. I don't know if that's
Entertainment
it's
business?
the yes, entertainment
Okay,
business.
okay.
I didn't want to just focus on just the music side, because, like I said, I'm looking at a more broader picture than just the music.
Okay. I'm glad I asked them just to make sure.
Yes, thank you for asking.
Mhm.
And thank you, Cara, for introducing yourself and giving everybody a better understanding of what you do. Hopefully, Cara, I believe you're in my section, section 1. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So everyone in my section, hopefully, you'll have the opportunity to connect with Cara. And if she is already down the path that you are trying to walk down, then I want to encourage you guys to connect and to connect with Cara, see how you guys can help one another through this process. Seeing how Cara's already, established her business, at least at a micro level. She's still progressing, but she definitely has an established client, and she's probably overcome some of those challenges that many of you might face as you go into artist management. So please feel free to connect with one another throughout the month and far beyond. All right, so let's go ahead and dive into the course itself, the course material. I want to give you a brief overview today of what you can expect for the remainder of the month. This is like that 5,000-foot view of what the course is going to look like, what's going to be expected each week. So hopefully, if you're watching this on archive and you do have questions, please reach out to Gail or I early so that we can address those questions or concerns long before assignments are due. The first question that we often get is, what is career module? If you've logged into FSO and you've discovered your project in Portfolio 1 class, hopefully you have by now. But if you've done that, you've probably also seen a course called Career Module 1. And with this new portfolio ecosystem, if you will, there are 7 project and portfolio classes that you'll have that run the span of your degree program. And along each one of those project and portfolio classes, you're going to have something called the career module. And these career modules are designed to set you up for success long before graduation day. What we've done is we've partnered with Career Services, and Career Services has given us a self-guided course that covers the topics that are primarily needed in order to be successful after graduation. And so the first one, it works perfectly with our class because the first career module is all about personal branding. And the book that you download, it's a very interactive iBook. It's got videos and it's got articles that you can read. It's got so much great information, valuable information. I highly recommend downloading that early and then using that information to your benefit each week as you conduct activities or submit assignments and things of that nature. So again, career module is going to be very helpful for you here in Project and Portfolio 1. The important part here that I'll note is the career module classes, they're 1 credit hour and they're self-guided. Now, Gail and I are here to help you if you have questions or concerns or anything like that. You can, of course, reach out to us. But the activities themselves are self-guided in the sense that there's videos that you'll watch, articles that you'll read, the book, obviously, that you download, and then there's a knowledge check test, which is about 7 or 8 questions just to check the knowledge that you have gained by reading that material. Okay, so please make sure that you don't postpone completing the career module. I know that can be easily done in the midst of everything else you have going on, but the career module is self-guided and it's due the Friday before the end of our session. That's June 23rd. So as you're watching this, or Cara on the line right now, I would love for you to open up your calendar, write it on a Post-it note, do whatever you have to do to make sure that you know the due date for Career Module 1. And that's June 23rd, which is the Friday before our session ends. So please don't wait until the last minute. Don't wait until like that last weekend of week 4 and you're struggling to get all the assignments done and all that kind of stuff, and you're like, oh gosh, I have the career module to do too. I don't want that to happen to you. Be sure that you complete Career Module 1 long before June 23rd.
Hey, Cara, how does it show up in your view as a student? Does it just show up as a class in your view? Is it you like the last class on your list or first, or how does that show up for you?
Um, I have to double check and look. All of them look the same to me, so
Okay.
um, I'll have to really look. I believe it was the first one
Okay. Okay. So that I
that,
was wondering if, because sometimes people forget to do that. I'm like, well, how did they see it? But if it's the first one, that's probably even more helpful for you guys to remember to get in
yeah,
there.
because my last class, they had something a little similar that, they told you to work throughout the thing, but it was the last thing on the list, and I almost missed it,
Mm,
so
okay.
when it's the at the bottom, it's easy to miss.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
Yes, thank you for that, Cara. Um, and that's the most important thing. Are some of the easier things to miss are the ones that get hidden throughout your FSO platform. So it's good to know where students see that as well. Okay, so now on to Project in Portfolio 1, the course itself. What we have is we have something called integrated learnings, more commonly known as discussion boards. So the discussion boards, you're going to have one per week, so 4 total. And each one of these discussion boards is going to give you an opportunity to write an initial post, which will be due by Wednesday, and then you'll respond to a minimum of 2 classmates, and that's due by Sunday. The um, the primary objective when it comes to the discussion boards is to make sure that you are engaged with one another as well as us as instructors. So you'll see Gail and I go in and redirect conversation or maybe reply to a few individuals to kind of spur the conversation a little bit further. The main objective here is to be sure that you are finding ways to deepen conversations that are being held. So the initial post is just the beginning. It gives you something to put out there and begin a conversation about. Um, the reply post is where the real interactive nature of these discussion boards happens. So if, for instance, you wait until Sunday evening to revisit the discussion board, while you may complete the assignment and on time, you won't get as much out of the discussion board as we would hope as instructors that you do get out of these discussions. It's your opportunity to learn. Like in our case, we have Cara here on the line who has an established business. Well, I know there's lots of entrepreneurs that will very likely be listening to this. If that's you, why not reach out and really start building a relationship with your peers like Cara, who may already have experienced those challenges that you faced? I mentioned this at the top of the hour. So it's important to have those conversations and find ways to deepen it. Now, how do you deepen a conversation? Well, there's lots of different ways. One of which would be providing resources or references that back up your key points. So for instance, we are going to talk about demographics and psychographics at one point later on in the class. What better way to provide an answer to your classmates than find actual demographic information on a particular target audience and sharing a link to that demographic information to your peers? There's the Full Sail library that is loaded with databases that have infinite amounts of valuable information that you can research. Gail mentioned Psychology Today. There's a lot of information about various different psychological elements. And when it comes to personal branding, psychology plays a significant role in how we brand ourselves in the eyes of our target audience. And so learning a little bit more about psychology and the role that plays in marketing and branding, you can find that information out through these databases on the Full Sail library. Now, obviously, you can connect with Full Sail library through Full Sail Connect. So I would encourage you to go on there, do a little bit of research, use these databases that you have access to in order to deepen the conversation, actually back up your key points with data that you can link to and help your classmates out that way. So those are the discussion boards. Again, Wednesday posts and then reply posts by Sunday. And then the other thing that we have in this class are 4 assignments. And each week you're going to have one assignment that has to do with the overall topics that we'll be discussing. And each one of these assignments builds upon the other. So you're going to take things that you contributed to the integrated learnings, the discussion boards, and those are going to be applied to the assignments. Assignments from week 1 are going to be applied to the assignment in week 2. And the assignment in week 2 is going to be applied to assignment in week 3. So the reason why I tell you this is to make sure you don't fall behind on your work. It's very important that each week you're completing the assignments that you're given so that you have less work to do the next week. Very important to note. And then, of course, the integrated learning I mentioned has Wednesday due dates. So that means tomorrow, the first initial post of your discussion board for week 1 is going to be due tomorrow before midnight. So I'm going to pause there for just a minute. Cara, did that bring up any questions for you?
As far as the discussion board, the first posting, and then you said to interact more during the week before the Sunday. My experience have been that not everybody does that. So say like if I post something Wednesday and I come back and I might respond to somebody on Thursday or Friday, but they don't come back until Sunday. So if it's a post where I ask a question or something, by the time they respond, like you said, at the last minute of Sunday, it's too late for me to respond back because, the assignment is ending. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Yes,
Yeah.
I know exactly what you mean. And in those circumstances, Cara, you're doing everything that you can do. And Gail and I, we can see that. We see when posts are posted. So we know what days and times that everyone is posting. And so the best thing that you can do is keep trying to engage your classmates no matter what. So even if they're not responding to the questions that you pose, you're still posing those questions and you're doing everything that you can do. So you and I can have a conversation. I can ask you a bunch of questions, but if you don't answer, there's not much more I can contribute. Right. So you're fine as long as you're going on and you're engaging in that way. That's great. But I will note that if your classmates are responding to you, and you should be getting maybe a little ping or some type of message or something when people respond to you. But either way, if you go on and you just see that someone has responded, as long as it's not like Sunday at 10 o'clock at night or something like that, and you're already ready to go to bed, then I would encourage you to obviously respond to those that are responding to you.
Right.
I have found that the students who get the most out of the discussion, and it really becomes a wonderful collegiate experience for folks, is that, there's folks that go on every day instead of having that approach of I'm just going to go on Wednesday and Sunday. There are students who go on every day and check and see, what's going on. I know I generally many times will as well. And you see them starting to interact with each other so well and learning so much from each other. And so that's our hope. And I know we have the same thing happen, Carl, where I'll have comments to someone and they never, they will just come on Sunday, do a couple of posts and not respond. And it's really sad because generally when Ryan and I are responding, it's probably something that folks probably might find very valuable to know, or it may be they left something out that's critical and we're just trying to remind them. So yeah, the more often you go on there, you're gonna get so much more out of it.
Right, right. I do try to you know, check in like every day, especially when I'm one of those people that double check, triple check, quadruple check the assignments, make sure
Uh,
I'm following the directions correctly
I,
and haven't missed anything.
that's a good thing.
Very good to hear. Very good to hear, Cara. And if you have questions as you go along, please feel free to reach out to me and let me know, because I'm happy to clarify as well.
Okay. I don't have any questions off the top of my head right at the moment because you know, I've read a lot of the material for the class, but I'm still reading. I'm still reading some of it to get better acclimated with, you know, the information that you guys are providing to us.
Okay. And Gail's going to be briefly going over the assignments for week 1 once I step off the line. So that might help as well as she kind of walks through the assignments.
Okay, that sounds great. That sounds
Okay.
good.
So I mentioned that the name of the course is Project and Portfolio. Good reason for that, because you have your portfolio that you're going to start in this class. This class marks the very beginning of your digital portfolio site, and your digital portfolio site is going to be utilizing a predetermined URL for your based on your Full Sail email address, and it's going to be using WordPress CMS, or WordPress Content Management System. Now, if you've never used WordPress before, this might be a little bit challenging because you're going to overcome a learning curve of learning how to conduct or how to create a website using this new system. But if you have adjusted to WordPress before, then you might find this a little bit easier. Either way, what we have done is we have created a video that literally walks you step by step, kind of like Linda, but it doesn't have that quality. Like, it's a screencast, so it's not that Linda professional production, but it's like Linda in the sense that it's going to walk you step by step through how to complete assignment 1 for your digital portfolio.
I love it.
And
I call it the quick start version.
the quick start version, yes. This quick start version of the video is offered to you to help you just get your feet wet with WordPress. And it gives you exactly what you need to know to complete what we call getting started assignment. And that is actually a 2-week assignment. And the video itself, I think, might be like 12 to 15 minutes long. And that's with me just kind of saying howdy as well. So actual work might be about 10 minutes long. So you're going to learn in 10 minutes exactly how to do it. But we give you 2 weeks for this assignment. And the reason for that is because there is a Linda course that you can take to really dive deeper into how to use WordPress. And you can use this time over the next 2 weeks to watch some of those Linda courses. You can also watch YouTube videos. You can reach out to Gail or I, and we are more than happy to help you through different elements of your WordPress system. All of that can be done in the first 2 weeks. We want to give you ample time to get past that learning curve for those of you unfamiliar with the content management system. Cara, have you ever used WordPress before?
It's been a while. When I did my first website for my we used with GoDaddy. Um, it can be easy. Um, it's just basic. So it'll be kind of good to get more in depth. And I didn't have no guide to follow.
Okay. And Cara, my apologies. I was probably getting maybe every third or fourth word that you said, but I think I got the gist of it. Um, are you able to hear me clearly, Gail?
Yes, absolutely. Carla was coming kind of in and out. It looks like she
Okay.
is, it says she's offline now, so maybe she has a signal problem.
Okay. All right. I just want to make
Yeah, I'm
sure.
sorry. Hello.
Ah, we can
Yes.
hear you.
Okay, I do have a signal problem. I live in the mountains, so that
Oh
happens a lot.
my, lucky you.
Um, I was stating that I am familiar with WordPress, but I'm not that well versed and knowledgeable in it. I used it, once or twice when I did the first website for my book club. Um,
And we may have lost Cara again.
can you
Possibility.
guys hear me?
Oh, we hear you
Yes. Now,
again.
now we can.
Now we can. Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Cara, I'm hoping that maybe the video will get you kind of caught up on WordPress, but then the class itself, um, probably by the end of the month, you'll be hitting on all cylinders. I can imagine. So hopefully this will help. And for those of you watching on archive, I just pulled up my demo site that I created to give you a glimpse at what you could have by the end of the month. This is by no means a finished product, and in your case, it probably won't be either. In fact, it certainly won't be because you have 6 other portfolio sites that you have to complete. So you're going to be constantly changing and updating your site. So don't worry. Don't let not your heart be troubled. By the end of this class, you'll have a site up and running, but it's not going to be perfect, and you're not supposed to be at this stage. Um, I have a lot of students most of the time going, "Oh, there's so much more I wish I did on my site, and I don't have this done. I still have to, kind of pick at the heading and the logo, and I want to change, the colors and this and that, and all that is fine. But what we're looking for here in Project and Portfolio One is what I would call a minimal viable product, or MVP. So for my marketing and business students, you'll very likely hear the term minimal viable product a lot through the course of your program. That MVP is what we're looking for here. Just something to get you up and running to start establishing your presence online. And throughout the rest of your program, you'll have plenty of time to fidget with it and make it perfect and add to it and subtract from it and so forth. But here, what you see, this is all done using WordPress. You see what we call a slider up top that gives several actions that can be taken. Down below, you have call out boxes that will bring the viewer to another page regarding the topic of interest that is prevalent to your thought leadership, your perspective on your given industry. And then down below on the homepage, at least in this class, your homepage is going to be your blog. And so this is where all of your blog posts will appear. Rather than on the blog page, which you will set up, they're actually going to appear on the homepage. Later, as you progress through your project and portfolio programs, you're probably going to change your homepage to a static page, but for now, you'll keep it as the home for your blog posts. Then under your About page, it is going to house your professional headshot. It's also going to house your personal brand statement and your branded bio. All of that will be completed in week 2, and that'll appear on your About page.
It looks like
Under the
Cara has a question.
Okay.
Um, well, it's good that I'm having this class right now because although I'm not going to be using WordPress, I'm actually in the process of starting to build my business website, And so my question was, do you think any information here that we do that I can be able to use on my business actual website?
Oh, absolutely. The concepts, you mean? Like what you'll learn as far as how to build a website and how to manipulate WordPress and those sort of things?
Right. And like what to put on it. Like I know that I know a couple of basic things that I need to have on there, but with it being an artist management company, I don't think there's really a lot of content, for page to be there, at least not right now because I only have one artist. You know what I mean? So,
Sure. Yeah.
with what we're doing here, that can probably help fill in some spaces for the
Definitely. Yeah, definitely, Cara. And let me pause for just a moment just to be sure. The portfolio site that you will be creating, you'll be creating for your personal brand, you as a professional. So just like what you're seeing on the screen now, whereas I have
right.
clients like consulting clients and things of that nature, everything that appears on
Hmm.
this site is about me. However,
Right.
you can take those concepts that you'll be learning in this class, and especially how to build a website appropriately, and then apply that to
Hmm.
your business website. So you can create an about page about all of your clients and all the successes that you've had. Maybe it's a services page, that all the services that you provide for your clients on behalf of your clients, things of that nature. You
Right.
can have an event calendar page where you showcase all the different events that your clients are booked for, right? A
Right.
contact page, obviously, you would have
Right.
that. But yeah, absolutely, you should be able to apply the concepts that you're learning here to your business website as well.
Okay, that's great. Thank you.
Hmm. And just to kind of finish up here, and then I'm going to pass the reins over to Gail. The resume page, I've chosen to embed my content. This is something that you will learn along the way. But on your resume page, you're going to have your resume, and that doesn't mean that it's a finished product if you don't already have a resume. Some of you may have gone right from high school into college, and that's okay. And you haven't had a lot of work experience yet. That's okay. You still have education experience, probably some volunteer experience and the like. You would want to put that information on your resume page. Under your portfolio page, this is where you're going to include all of the content that you've been creating throughout this class and maybe some of your previous classes, or in Kara's case, since she has real world work experience, she could even include some of her work that she's done with her clients on this portfolio page. Here you'll see examples of students' work that I included on this demo site. For each week, the first week you have a keynote presentation. The second week you have a branded bio, personal brand statement, and headshot. Week 3, you're going to be creating a personal brand video using Adobe Spark, and then providing a video brief, which describes the intentions behind the video, as well as your content marketing campaign. And then lastly, in week 4, you're going to create a personal brand canvas, which is a one-page solution to developing your personal brand long after you leave this class. Okay, so long story short, basically the portfolio page is to house all this great content that you'll be creating, not only in this course, but in the courses to come, as well as a few that you've already completed. I mentioned the blog. The blog is going to be your homepage. So by the time you conclude this class, the blog page will very likely be blank, just like you see here. But in future classes, you'll be making your homepage a static page and your blog page housing all your blog posts. And then lastly, of course, the contact page. Now you'll notice on the contact page that you see here, I've included a plugin that allows me to showcase a field rather than actually including my phone number or email address or what have you. I've chosen to use this plugin. plugins, especially contact form plugins, are something that you are going to learn in either fundamentals of web design or future portfolio classes, depending on which program you have. So again, when you conclude this class, you will very likely just have your contact information included, unless you're a go-getter and you want to look up how to include plugins, specifically contact form plugins, and you can do that by all means. You can feel free to press yourself and challenge yourself to include those items. So with that, I have to run, but I'm going to pass the reins, presenter rights, over to Gail. Let's see here. It looks like Gail, you've already got him. Is that accurate?
I have it, I believe. Cara, can you see my screen? I have
Yes, I can see the blue screen.
Okay, super. Okay, Ryan, hopefully he's been able to get out and go pick up his little one. Okay, so Cara, what I thought would be helpful, and you just stop me if you have any questions, is to kind of go over. He's already gone over the overview for the class, and so
Right.
I'm going to talk a little bit more in detail about what's coming up. And so I have, hopefully your list of all the things that you have to do looks very similar to mine here. And so this setting up Hootsuite, for this very first lesson here, it goes with your monitoring your brand down here.
Right.
And so what you want to do, and I recommend that you get in there as soon as you can, because have you used Hootsuite before? Are you familiar with
I
that?
do. I actually use Hootsuite
Oh,
to
fabulous.
pre-post my Facebook posts for my book club, for my t tweets. I'm not really into tweeting, but I'm just learning that part. But I use Hootsuite quite often for my book club since I can't be online all the time. I post my good mornings and anything like that.
Does it save you time using Hootsuite?
Yes.
That's what a lot of people say. And for those that have not used Hootsuite, they get a little bit intimidated with it. So that's why I'm saying, for those who haven't, if they just get in there and watch this lesson and learn how to set it up. And the reason I say do it early is, if folks rush through it, like on Sunday night, you're not going to truly understand the incredible functionality that Hootsuite has for you, as Cara has found. And just take your time going through the lesson and understanding why it is a tool that can help you to have a better management system for all of your social media, and be able to be more consistent and clear in terms of your message, and representing yourself online. So that one. It's unweighted, but highly recommended that you go through that, because it's really going to be hard to do this assignment of monitoring your brand. Can't speak tonight. If you haven't done this one, unless you're someone like Carla, and who already kind of knows it. But even if you've used it before, Cara, there's some really good recommendations on how to set up your tab systems for your streams, that we have
Okay.
found that people who kind of do this for a living in terms of internet marketing or any type of marketing where they need to use a lot of platforms, the tab
Right.
system that we have recommended is really highly valued by a lot of people who do this all the time. So please go in there anyway
Right.
and take a look at it. So the getting started here is in reference to the digital portfolio that Ryan went over, and you see here it'd be great for you to start it. And some people get so excited that they're going to have a portfolio, a website, that they go ahead and jump in there, and that's where he has that wonderful video. Like I said, I call it the quick start version, where what you do is you look at this first, and though this particular assignment isn't due for 2 weeks until the 11th, some people really like to get in there early. And you look at the video, it'll walk you right through, and then this is kind of the word version, the text version of what to do as well, because some people like to have both of those. There are some recommended trainings, but you probably will be the least frustrated if you watch the video first and just kind of stop and go and set up your own site, because the only thing you have to do for that first getting started assignment is really establishing your account, and then publishing your 5 pages. And that's not a lot to do, but if you've never done it before, this is incredibly helpful to do this. We'll probably go over this in a lot more detail next week, since it's due at the end of week 2 and we meet every week. So that's how you do that, and you will be very excited to walk through the getting started and go, oh my goodness, I have a website now. You just will be so excited. Yeah. So were you, Cara, when you established your first one?
Oh my goodness, my first website I did like 10 years
Oh my
ago.
goodness.
And they didn't have all the easy tools they had now. Then it was Dreamweaver,
Oh
and
my. So
yeah, so I'm sorry, go ahead.
you had to know an awful lot more of technical steps, right? When you did Dreamweaver?
Yes, yes, yes. And unfortunately, I lost those skills for back then, which I'm not, you know, it's not a bad thing because they have better, sources and ways to do websites now. So,
Well, the other
yeah.
thing is with YouTube, just about anything, if you get into a stag and go, how do I do that? You just, Google it, and somewhere there's a video on YouTube probably that someone has already posted and said, hey, this is how you do that. So, I mean, sometimes if I'm working through it, that's one of the things I do. I learned that from the Apple guys when I go in to see them. um, so the thing that's due tomorrow night, the initial post is this: what is your current brand? And there is a certain amount of work that you need to do, and that is you'll go down to these resources, and these first 4 here, you're going to go in and you're going to just take these surveys and you're going to get the results of those surveys. This one is an optional one. It's really, really helpful, but it takes more time. So if you have the time to put into it, it would be wonderful to do, because you'd learn even more about how you are seen out there in the for your online presence, and it would teach you how to kind of talk with other people about how they see you and how you can make adjustments at the same time. But definitely required for the discussion is you look at these first 4, and you're looking at them in terms of clarity. Who are you trying to reach? Who's your audience online? I always like to say, who are you going to try to work for when you graduate? Because probably that's the person you're trying to, or someone like them that you're trying to impress. If you're going to be an entertainment business professional, Cara, then you're probably wanting to make sure that your presence is very clear in terms of whatever you're communicating. It's very clear that you're a professional as you go whatever you do online. Then you're also looking at it in terms of consistency. Are you all over the place, or do you have the same message? Do you have the same headshots, or do you find that you're not consistent? And don't worry if you find that you're not consistent. That's why we're doing this, is to bring that into your awareness so that you're going to know what it is that you want to modify so that you are. However you want to be seen as clear and consistent out there. And constancy has to do with how often do you get online, how often do you post, and what are you posting, and what's your purpose, and all of that good stuff. So once you think of it in those terms, then what you're going to do, and oh, by the way, let me put a plug here for the Authentic Happiness Questionnaire. Make sure that you're doing the VIA character string. Some people go into the Authentic Happiness up here on the link, and they see all these surveys, and they don't realize that the one that we really want you to take is this VIA character strengths. And the reason for that is it's going to give you strengths that you can capitalize on when you are trying to enhance your brand and your presence. It'll be much more useful to you. Some people just do the authentic happiness survey in general, and they get like a score. But I'm hoping that you're all happy, but that's not really what we're looking for. We're really looking for your strengths that you can use with your brand. So I just want to put a plug in there for that. And then what you'll do is you'll kind of answer these questions for your initial post. You're going to give your survey results. You're going to talk about each one of the surveys and what you learned. And then these questions here will allow you to address what this has to do with your brand. So, the results from your assessment, what did you find out? What stood out that was real positive about your presence? What stood out negatively? And then it gives you something to really look at about what you want to do in the future. We also ask you how can you increase your reputation, increase the enhance your online reputation in the future. And when you take that this one, the online ID calculator, it's going to give you some recommendations that you can certainly use and consider and put on your post as well. What kind of gaps exist? Is the way that maybe you see you and others see you online is kind of different, and you would like to close that gap in some way. And what would you like to do about that?
Hmm.
Yes. Did
Yeah,
you?
it's interesting to say that, um, because, like I expressed before, I have an online book club and I have my music side. So I have a Facebook page that I've already that had already existed before I started my business. So I created another page. I guess you call it a like page or something, for my business side, but they're all still connected to my main page. And I have two Twitter sites, one for one for the regular and the book side, because I'm very connected with authors, with a lot of authors in the
Oh
book
my.
industry.
Okay.
Um, so I'm trying to separate the two, as far as the social media. So um, social media side, because the music side is my business.
Mm-hmm.
Side is my passion. you know and I don't get paid for that. So um it's been difficult to separate the
And
entities.
do you use the same name for all of those?
No.
Okay, I see that, and that might
um
be. And where would you want after you graduate? You said you still want to have your own business, right?
yes.
Okay, and so your focus is going to be on this artist management company or a talent agency
Correct.
per se.
Hmm.
So yeah, you might want, you could do something as simple as when you want things to be connected to you that have to do with artist management is simply um, put maybe a dash after your name and say Cara Parker, artist manager, and then that in itself gives you a different identity. You can make that kind of part of your account name, and that connects it different from Cara Parker, the book enthusiast, or you know book club
Okay.
member or president, or whatever the book club's name is. So you could start to
Right.
separate things in that manner as well, because you want whoever, if you're looking for, if you want artists to be able to find you because they may want you to manage them, you're going to want them to make sure they're finding the right Cara Parker. And do you find that that is a very common name as well?
um I actually haven't noticed. I mean, Kara is common. The two together, I haven't really noticed.
Okay.
Um, Kara, most people, well, not most, quite a few people spell with a K, and mine's is spelled with a C.
Okay.
But how I differentiate my page, well, my existing Facebook page already had my like nickname. So I left that as my nickname. And when I created my business page, I used my full name
Ah,
and my business name.
oh, good thinking. Okay. One of the surveys that you're going to take, the online ID identifier, I believe it's that one. Yes, calculator, the online ID calculator. That's one of the things that's going to have you do is go in and Google your name and see what's there. And that's going to give you a really good idea of what you're seeing, whether is that the way you want, are people able to find you based upon if they're looking for Cara with the book club or Cara as the artist manager, and does it differentiate in the way that you want it to? So you can look at all that and see kind of what happens, and then make some choices from there about how you want to handle that.
Right, right.
Okay.
Okay.
So basically, you just consider all of these questions, and that's the initial post that you're making. And again, it's due before midnight on Wednesday each week. If it's late, it's a 20-point deduction. So please, please, please don't be late. The other thing I want to draw to your attention is that um, we talked about how many times you should go in and you should reply to others and really converse with them. And so we require at least 2 replies by the end of the week, but that's only minimum requirement. If you want to earn all of the maximum points for that part of your discussion, then you need to go in and make multiple um, responses, at least 4, that are substantial, not that, and that really do stay within this rise model, and into where, are you elevating the conversation, and providing additional information and insight, or you're suggesting things, but you really want to look at this model as you are making your responses, because I know folks are in a hurry, but a lot of times they'll say, "Hey, loved your post, and what do you think you're going to do in your career path in the future?" And that kind of, something that simple really kind of looks like they were in a hurry and they just wanted to get the required reply up there, when in reality we really do want you to be helping one another, and really discussing what you found in this process, so that you can get as much out of it as possible. So does that help, Cara, at all? And here's some examples as well. And then,
Yes.
okay. And then Ryan and I, also, we go by this rubric. And the other thing that's really important to know is that if you miss the replies, because we find the discussion to be so important, um, it really accounts for quite a bit. So in other words, if you missed replies back to folks, it ends up being, so the rise model is 20%, and then your connections is 30%. So that's 50% of your actual grade going into for the discussion. And I know that's a lot, but we found that once we started doing this, that people really started to get into it more and being able to really converse a lot more with each other, which is really the purpose of a discussion board. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention, and that's huge in terms of the amount of points that you could lose if for some reason you decided not to do your reply post that week. So I didn't want anybody to be surprised by that. So any other questions about the discussion, Cara? Does that help?
That does help. And as soon as I finish my evening run, I will get started.
Fabulous. So the other thing that I wanted to take a quick look at, and it's kind of the last thing that you do for by Sunday, is monitoring your brand online. Um, and again, what you'll do is make sure you've looked at this Hootsuite lesson. And this requires a keynote presentation. And some people will come back and say, "Oh, can I do it in PowerPoint?" And it's required keynote because we want to make sure that you're proficient in keynote as you go through your program because it's one more thing to add on to your resume. I know sometimes it's not required, but it is because we're really big into adding those extra resume skills onto your resume. So we want you to know how to do that. Um, so what you'll do for this one is you'll notice that the resources pop up again that you looked at in your discussion because we're going to have you look at those categories and then also compare it as you go through the platforms that we're asking you to look at. So
Right.
so what you'll do is you're going to gather all your results from the surveys that you took, and
Yeah.
then what you'll also do is you hopefully have already gone through the lesson and created your Hootsuite account. Um, and and what you'll do on this presentation is basically for each one of the platforms that we're having you report on, and that's Hootsuite, Feedly, which most of you have a Feedly account from another course, and also Google Alerts, and we'll show you how to set all these up. We'll show you how to set up your keynote presentation. The steps are right here. And then each one of the platforms, Hootsuite, Feedly, and Google Alerts, you should have at least 3 slides for each one of those that talks about you put screenshots on your slides proving that you actually set it up and we can see your streams and see what you're following and all of that. And then you're going to talk about what you learned from those alerts or those streams, um, or those articles from Feedly on each one of those. Okay. And let's see. Yes. And pretty much that's the same. There's the same set of questions for each one of the particular tools. And you're going to talk about kind of why is this important for me to know with my for my brand. And Cara, you did a good job when you were talking about Hootsuite. It makes life easier, right? To just like
Yes.
send everything out. So with Google Alerts, you're going to set that up, and then you're going to choose some alerts, and then you're going to say, well, why am I doing this? Well, I'm doing this
And there,
because it's important for me to know things about the industry. You want your name to be in there because if someone has the same name as you want to know what else is going on for them in case you ever have to create a lot of positive content for yourself, which will bury the other guy who maybe doesn't have positive content. And then Feedly as well. And I thought what might be helpful real quick, because I'm trying to see if we have an example here. I'm going to go into my little file here. Here, let me just leave this up here. My desktop is so cluttered with so much stuff right now, but I am going to pull up an
So
example.
we have an existing, if
Excuse
we
me.
have an existing suite, if we have an existing boot suite or existing things, we could use that, or should we sign up another?
Oh no, you can use the ones you already have. In fact, you're kind of ahead of the game because what you'll do with Hootsuite is it'll prompt you to drop your social media already in there.
Hmm.
So, are you using Hootsuite currently?
I not right this minute, but yes, I do use Hootsuite
Okay.
currently.
Okay. So again, and you may have a tab system that you really like. I highly recommend the one that we've recommended. But for you, it might be just doing a little reorganizing. Um,
Right.
but no, you don't need to set up anything that's actually different. But I thought real quick I would. Oh, let's me find here's a real recent one I have here of a monitoring your brand. I thought it might help. So this was one that a student did that I saved it. I must have thought that that it was this was Jessica's, and I thought that she did a really good job. So I thought it might be helpful because some people have a tough time envisioning this. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to grab your online ID calculator. You're going to screenshot it, put it on the page, and you're going to talk about kind of what here it shows that she's digitally dissed, and she's going to talk about that and the 3 things that she found very revealing about that. And then she looks at her brand archetype quiz that she took. She put her screenshot of her top archetypes, 3 things that she found most revealing, and what her archetypes were and what that means. And then here's one on the Google alerts that she set up. She gives us a screenshot of the alerts that she has set up. She set up entertainment, and she wants to work. She has this thing about wanting to work for Tesla or Viacom, and so she set that up. And entertainment business and her actual name, so she can know if there's stuff out there that has her name in it. And so she set that up, and then she talked about why she set it up the way that she did. And then she took screenshots of actual Google alert content and why that's important to her and also to her brand, of why that's important. Here's another one as well. So she's doing, again, three content slides that she found on actual alerts that came to her, the content within these particular articles and such. And here's one as well. And she talked about kind of what she learned, what does it have to do, how does it strengthen my brand to know more about what Apple's doing. In her case, she'd like to work for Apple, and so it really helps her to know. So here, her Feedly dashboard. I think she has the dashboard. Here it is on the next slide. But here she talked about why she set it up. And I know most of you have already set it up. And what many students will do is go back in and maybe modify how they set it up in their previous class. So she talks about that here. And then she gives me a screenshot. Whoa, here, let's not go so fast.
This is different from Google. Is this different from Google Plus, or?
You know, I'm not.
The same.
It's Google Plus, and you can do Google Alerts without Google Plus. Google Plus is an enhancement, isn't it? I'm not really familiar with Google Plus, but I know you can. Google Alerts is they're going to send you alerts whenever you put those topics in there. Here, let's go back to.
Oh, okay.
See how she put in. When you go through the instructions, and it's going to show you how to set up Google Alerts, because of course you have to have a Gmail account in order to do this. So you'll have to set that up if you don't. And then you'll go in and you'll just set up what you want your alerts to be. It's pretty simple to do. And then once you do that, then you can look at the content that's coming through on it and write about it. Then when you get to Feedly, tell us why you set it up the way you did. Give us a screenshot. And what people make a lot of mistakes on is they forget to give us the screenshot showing they actually set their Feedly up. But the other thing they forget to do is to have the tabs open so we can see at least 3 collections and what's under those collections as well. So make sure.
I have Feedly already, so.
Say that again, I'm sorry.
I have Feedly already.
Fabulous. So yeah, if you like what you have, as long as you have at least 3 collections, and that you have at least 3 RSS feeds that are going that are under each one of those collections that are going to help you to enhance your brand. Meaning, are you learning more? Do you need to be connected to certain people? Like for you, I would think you want to be learning from some of the best artist managers. You probably want to be looking at, oh goodness, my mind just went blank. At who are the artist managers that you admire the most?
Kevin Lau.
Okay. I was thinking of. Scooter Braun is a great one as well.
Okay.
Different genre
Yeah.
than what you're doing, but one of
Yes,
the
that's what
best.
I'm doing. Different genres. Yes.
Okay. And I was thinking of, and I just went blank. But so you could, there's probably, people that you want to be following as well. So then what she does is she goes in and says, okay, this is an article that came to me under my feedly. And she talks about kind of why she liked it. And in her case, she says, this is important for me to know about how to speak better because I need to be able to do that to represent my brand, my personal brand better. So you see how the connection is made
That's
there?
true.
Okay. And then,
Yes. Yes. I'm actually signed up for a Toastmasters class.
oh, wonderful. Oh, that's going to be great for you. Absolutely.
Yeah, I took it years ago, like when I was like around years ago. But I know that I can use a refresher.
Absolutely. So the Hootsuite setup, which can be the most challenging for folks, but so valuable and worth going through. This particular student, I don't think she did not do the tabs like we recommend in the assignment. And so I put a note here for her because if you don't do it the way that we recommend, like with industry, competitor, your brand itself, and blogs,
Mhm.
that's four of the areas, you're really missing the functionality because what she did is she put like all Facebook, all Twitter, all LinkedIn. So, let's say that you wanted to let's say artist managers. That's something, but you would want to know artist management from all different social media platforms, right? Not just one. You'd want it to aggregate into one area. So let's say if
Right.
you had an industry tab, but who you're really wanting to follow is you're wanting to follow all the social media of that particular artist manager that you mentioned.
Right.
And so that would be probably a more valuable way to do it that would serve you better. So that's why we recommend, instead of, a lot of students do it this way, they'll just throw in by social media platform, but that's really not optimizing what Hootsuite can do for you. And
Okay.
there's also a Hootsuite, they have training there on the site, but you can also go to lynda.com and there's Hootsuite training as well. But just to get set up to do it for the assignment, everything's pretty much there in that lesson, everything you're going to need for this assignment. So she talks about why she set it up, and I made a recommendation. Hey, you probably want to look at it the way that we recommend it, so you can get a lot more out of it. And then she went into her streams and then pulled out things that were there. Again, talked about why this is valuable to her and how it impacts her brand. In other words, she wants to work for Viacom one day. And so she's
Mhm.
following Viacom and getting involved with this particular the folks who are posting because she wants to know about their projects and what's going on, and it makes her more informed. And then if she starts to also participate with these folks, it also gets her name, her personal brand connected at the same time, and she shows interest towards the company. Here's another one. She just gave us a screenshot with this particular one. Here's and she showed where it fell too, and did the same thing, and why is that important to her brand? Okay. So, and she threw in references. References, I'm pretty certain I don't remember us requiring that. It's a great thing, great habit to get into, but I don't believe that's a requirement for the assignment. She was just trying to really impress us, and she did. So does that help, Cara, with what kind of what is needed for that monitoring your brand assignment?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you the last part.
Do,
I,
do you have any questions about that, or was there anything else you might needed to
Um,
ask about that?
Not at the moment. I, just cheer doing, and I
Well, you're cutting in and out, so I'll I'll keep
Um,
going. Hopefully you can hear me. Um,
Yes.
so this is the rubric that we both Ryan and I use, and you'll see that it's divided up into setting up. You know, you have to demonstrate that with the screenshots on your slides that you actually did set up these platforms for Hootsuite and that you talked about the specific information, how it connects to your brand, and you do that for each one for Hootsuite, for Google Alerts, and for Feedly. And also you're including how does your online calculator, ID calculator, and your brand advantage quiz, how does the information that you know about those connect with all three of these at the same time? So you'll discuss that. Let's see. And the other thing is, we look to see is it a keynote? Did you give us at least 3 slides for each one of those platforms? And we also look at spelling. We understand that we live in an online environment nowadays, so we really, really want you all to write as well as possible in terms of not making, grammatical and spelling mistakes because it makes you guys look bad. And so we'll be looking for that and taking off points for that as well. So please just do the best you can there. So that's really all I have about the assignments. Did I miss anything, Cara? That
I don't think that you have. This was very detailed, informed, and um, it really helps to get me started.
super,
So
super.
I'm looking forward to diving in.
Okay. Well, if you have any questions, I know that Ryan is available all the time. One of the things that we probably did not mention that we probably should have, let me go back to the content here, is up here on the welcome. Um, that has all of our contact information. We have our phone numbers, our email. I know I like to get a lot of information in the platform so we can kind of keep everything in one place, but I'm perfectly okay with people texting me, calling me, IMing me, and I know that Ryan is as well. So all that information about us is is right there in the welcome. So that if you have any questions or you get stuck, then please contact us in a way that works for you, and we will get back with you and we'll answer whenever we can. Okay.
Okay, that's great. I certainly will. I'm sure I will.
Well, thank you, Cara, for being here, and that's a wrap this evening. And I guess I'll bid you adieu, and hopefully everything will go well in Pennsylvania for you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, have a good evening.
You too. Thank you for being here.
Okay.